Live from Brooklyn, New York City, it is Ask an Engineer.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer, with me, Mr. Lady Ada, on camera control, getting you codes, streaming while AWS is down, or who knows what. Doesn't matter. We wide.
Yeah. So just some logistics before we get going. Right at 7 o'clock, we decided, okay, looks like we could still do show and tell. We trade off with Adafruit team members, and then just like a bunch of stuff came up. We have a kid, and then we have a lot of stuff going on, like think if you're a parent, there's lots of things that go on, the handoff between childcare and parents and all that stuff. So, you can only control what you can control. So we always try to bring in enough flexibility so we can take good care of kiddo and also do all the shows and communicate with our team and all this stuff. But just some days things stack up. So instead of trying to do show and tell and be flustered and just be like, wow, that didn't work out so great. I said, well, can always do more of them. We do it every week. And then for Ask an Engineer, just wanted to reset. And then by the time I started the show, the desk that we use fell apart and it fell down. And if we were sitting there, you would have maybe clonked your foot, and we're expecting another kid. That wouldn't have been great.
No,
and then,
I don't need a broken foot.
And then I'm like, you know what?
Problems.
And then I'm like, why I'm here? Why don't I lower the desk? Because we just moved. So what you don't see behind the scenes here is just a giant mess, and just everything's all over the place. But we're committed to doing the shows. So, anyways, I think you 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I'm glad your foot was not in line of a very heavy desk. I caught it right before it hit me.
Yeah.
My knee doesn't care. Made out of metal. So I think that net positive, if that's what I have to trade off.
We're going to keep doing the show.
Right. That's what I think so too. So thank you for your patience, everyone. If there's time while we're doing some videos, I'll grab the latest sonogram. We just got good news. There were some tests that we did, and it's scary. So far, so good. This time we're doing a little different. We're letting everyone know because we're going to disappear a little bit. And this is why. Also be nice. Because we have other things we can be doing. But I like doing this, and so does Lamar. So let's do the show.
Let's do it.
Yeah. On tonight's show, the code is Fountain, 10% off in the Adafruit store, all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not going to talk about the show and tell other than a little bit about the show and tell. When you can come by and what happens when we're running late or something like that. Talk about Desk of Lady Ada, what was on there last week and more. Some JP's product pick of the week. Talking about some Learn guides. We have some 3D printing. We've got everybody's favorite segment. It is Ion NPI. New product introduction. This week it's Omega. This is brought to you by DigiKey, of course. New products, top secret. We're going to do a question bonanza, I think, where we answer all the questions I got put in the suggestion box and the question box. I think I'm going to do a pre-record on that and then switch to live when we get through all the other ones. Stay tuned for that. We'll see. But if we have time tonight, we'll be answering your questions in Discord. I'm not going to go through the free stuff, but you get free stuff if you order things. And then if you order before 11 a.m. in New York City, you can get same day. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer. Lady Ada, let's just dive right in.
Okay, check it.
So first up, let's talk about Desk of Lady Ada. Do you remember what we did on the weekend? on Sunday, which seems like a million years ago.
I know, it does seem like a million years ago. Well, I think I went through a bunch of prototypes that I recently designed, like an infrared sensor and a magnetometer. I also did a bunch of e-inks. I think I talked about the e-ink displays also. I'm trying to get the MagTag back in stock, showing off some e-ink hacking that I did to get Grayscale working with the lookup table mods on black and white e-ink displays. And then for the Great Search, we did... I wanted to find a replacement for the TMP-007 infrared remote sensor. It's continued many years ago, and we had a request from the Adafruit IO team and all these people who grow weed to get another sensor that can do leaf canopy measurements. And so I did a Great Search showing how to find all the different, there's actually a couple different options of remote IR temperature sensors.
Okay. And then JP's product pick of the week is what we do every single week. Inside of the product page, the discount is applied automatically on checkout. JP, let's do a little bit of highlight.
The I2C to 8 channel solenoid driver. This can be used with Stemma QT, so you've got easy hookup. It can be solderless, because we can provide power to these little middle screw terminals, and then all of the solenoids that you can drive have their own screw terminals. 4 solenoids here, and then the others are sort of scattered around a little bit. Not a typewriter project. I love this project. I made a little mini version of this that I can demo. USB cable running to the computer. The Feather with USB host, RP2040. Then my keyboard is plugged into that. Data and power is going to the solenoid driver board. I have this little baby solenoid here. With every stroke that I type, we get the little solenoid driving. It is the I2C 8-channel solenoid driver board with Stemma QT.
All right, and then check out JP's workshop tomorrow. 3D Hangouts was this week, and we're also trying to do stuff where there's automatic clip creation with all the video tools now, and we want to make sure they're not like AR garbage. So if there's good segments, like I would like to be able to tell it like, oh, this isn't really neat, like 3D tip from knowing Pedro. I'd like to be able to like look at it and say this is a segment to make a clip out of. But when computers decide, it's not as good. But we're getting there, so we'll see. Tune in next week. We're gonna try more stuff, and then deep dive this Friday with Tim, 5 o'clock Eastern. Lady Ada, we're gonna jump right into INMPI. Are you ready?
Yep.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Hi on NPI.
Hi on NPI, brought to you by DigiKey and Adafruit. Every week, Lady Ada looks at the latest, newest. New York's hottest club is Omega. We've got chips. We've got chips that are dips. We've got chips and dip.
Well, Omega they actually make temperature sensors.
We've got hot chips.
Yeah.
We've got cold chips.
They've got, yeah, they're really good. They're known for many things, but one of the things that Omega specifically is known for is their thermocouples. And this week's INMPI is their SA1 series of fast response thermocouples with adhesive banking. What I liked about this is it solved a problem that I've had many times, which is I'm measuring something with a thermocouple and I have to attach it to something. And it's like really hard to do that because thermocouples are made with 2 wires. They're like high temperature wires, and they have a really cool property called the Seebeck effect,
Whoa.
where when you heat up the joint of where those wires touch, they create a very small millivolt differential signal that you can then measure. And that signal increases with temperature, so you can easily back correlate that to find out what the temperature is at the hot end of the thermocouple. Very handy. So they tend to come with 2 wires and sheathed in, some fiberglass or some temperature resistant plastic. And then, this end is the temperature, the voltage measuring end. So you connect this to your thermocouple sensor or your multimeter, whatever. And the other end has this, this is like a zoom in version. It has a little welded ball tip at the end there. You see that on the right. So that's where the temperature is measured. But the problem is that if you think about it, like it's like this little point, right? So it's like very hard to attach to something. You can get temperature sensors that come with probes, and these are good for these are actually often put in tanks and stuff to measure, food or medicine or chemical processes. You want to make sure that everything's happening at the right temperature. But it's like if you want to measure the surface temperature of plate or a pipe or a tree, I don't know. These are both very hard to attach. So what's nice, maybe it's a very smooth tree. So in this case, the SA1 series comes with a pad, you see at the bottom, made out of fiberglass, a polyamide, which is also a Kapton, and a silicone polymer glue. And you can attach it, at least once. They say, it's not meant to be reused, but you can kind of sort of like remove it if you want to and try to reattach it. The glue won't be as good the second time. And the sensor is embedded inside, and the pad is thermally conductive. So you don't have to worry, it attaches very cleanly. And then you're measuring right at the surface without having to come up with some weird ass like fixture clip.
Weird ass fixture clips.
There's a couple different varieties of thermocouples available. The ones that DigiKey has in stock right now are the K-type. Those are the two at the top. One of them comes with a kind of standard thermocouple clip, which I'll show in a second, and the other one has bare wires. The type that's available is K-type, which is also kind of the most popular thermocouple, works at a wide temperature range. Almost every measurement device that takes thermocouples will use K-type thermocouple. However, there's other varieties available that you can special order through DigiKey, J, T, and N. For the most part, I think most people are going to be happy with K, but if you happen to have, again, a sensor that's calibrated for J, T, or N, and you need to plug into that, ask DigiKey and they'll order the special version.
All right. I'm impressed. So this is one of the reasons why Lady Ada does these. Is there some tongue twisters in here? And I don't actually know how you got through that. Good work.
I know thermocouples.
Jeez.
I know thermocouples. So
okay, did you know it's patented?
This is patented. So this is actually interesting. So it looks like a standard. So when I clicked on the data sheet for the one that they have the most in stock, and it has this 2-prong connector, which if you have like a multimeter or a thermocouple reader, this is very familiar. I don't know the name of this type of connector, but it's the thermocouple connector.
Chat, you know what to do, chat.
So this connector has ferrite beads inside of it. So I guess that makes it a little bit more immune to EMI or interference. And yes, I guess this is patented. So that's what comes in one of the versions. And the other versions come with bare wire, and some of them come with this kind of cool spool connector. So it's like it's got the connector, and then a meter or two of wire is spooled around it, and so you don't have this like long ass wire that you can trip over or like actually choke yourself or something. So check the part number on the right to tell you what the length of it is, because some of them are 1 meter and some are 2 meter.
All right.
And then, of course, as we mentioned before, the thermocouple is made with 2 wires and a weld in the center. So to measure that millivolts, you need to have something that can convert that millivolt back to temperature. So don't forget, you'll need something. This is the table. Now, if you have a very good ADC, you could just put this table into your code and do the conversion yourself. But there are also a lot of chips and sensors, either like USB data loggers available from Omega, or a DigiKey, just search for thermocouple and select a semiconductor. And there's tons of chips available from like a wide range of companies, from like Analog to TI to Maxim to whatever. You can DIY/roll your own K-type thermocouple reader, but you can't just plug this directly into your microcontroller. You do need something that takes that millivolt and converts it to this temperature according to the table. If you want to get yourself in a sticky situation with a thermocouple, these are in stock right now at DigiKey. They've got lots. Omega is known as the best quality thermocouples. They're kind of famous for it. So if you're doing temperature control, you want something good and reliable, something you can stick onto a surface, check out the SA1 series from Omega and DigiKey.
I'm sorry, everyone. We're in a pile of boxes because we moved, so I just had to pick up something. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I think I just bumped the microphone. Okay. It was really loud, I think, maybe. Someone will tell me if it was. Or I might have got lucky.
Maybe it was your yelp of excitement over the SA1 thermocouple series from Omega.
Yeah. Tribble. Anyways. So that's this week's Eye on MPI.
Eye on MPI.
Okay, the code's Fountain, 10% off the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. We're going to go right to new products, so we have time for the rest of the stuff.
Okay.
Based on what happens next.
All right. Let's do the news.
New products.
That's right.
Yeah. Poof.
Okay, let's kick it. So we used to carry these micro SD card holders, and the company like stopped selling them. So I had to find another supplier. But we found one. I really like these because I have tons of micro SD and SD cards scattered all over my desk for testers, for single board computers, for photography, for data loggers. It would be great if they weren't just like in a pile. This is really nice. It's a little holder. There's labels. This particular one, wait, go back. Sorry, there's two. So this one can carry 2 SD cards and 4 micro SDs. They snap in very nicely. Then use your nails to remove them. We also have a version that, if you're getting all modern, is just micro SD cards. It can hold 10 micro SD cards very securely. They really do not fly out by accident. I thought this would be good for like photographers too, or people who are like doing, data logging or field stuff. And then what I really like is that they have a little outline that shows you how the card plugs in. You can also write on that with your marker to tell you what that card is.
Let me tell you something, folks. These little time savers add up over a lifetime. I've spent so much time looking on SD cards, putting them in wrong, putting them in right.
What did I get?
You don't understand, everyone. Sometimes life gets down to a millisecond or a minute. And if you're there, the car hits you. If you're not, you're not. Please give yourself the gift of life and get something that saves you time. I got lucky today because I got like out of the way of something. If I would have been fiddling around with an SD card like I used to before I had this, no show. It would be very delayed.
Okay. Good advice. Next up,
it's 10% off too.
Yeah. We're from Steph Piper, Maker Queen. She emailed us about a new book. We did a blurb for this, actually. It's a very cool book because it kind of gamifies making and learning.
Yeah.
You go through these paths of learning different skills. And so if you're the kind of person who needs a little bit of like motivation of, what should I learn next to get to the goal I want, which is to be a really good coder or to be really good at 3D printing or modeling. This kind of is a DIY kit system for badging and skill modeling. Check it out. She's has great ideas, great inspiration. Just flipping through it will give you ideas of like, hey, what do I want my next project to look like? Maybe pick up a skill for one of these skills and you can continue on your path to become an expert maker.
Hey everybody, it's me, Phil. You may remember me from previous segments, such as the SD card holder. I just want to say something from the beyond. The skill seeker thing is cool because there was a time in the maker world when DIY.org was around and they made these cool hexagon badges. They were a venture funded thing, and then they acquired Little Bits, and Little Bits went to Sphero, and then Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, they were having some problems about how they were doing membership. There's a lot of things that happened. Basically, there was badges that people wanted to do, but it was kind of frozen. I think when we were doing badges, I wanted to do these hexagon-shaped ones, but then I saw DIY.org do it, and I said, you know what? That is kind of their core thing. I'm not going to do it. Not because of like any other reason than I think they would do a really good job, and they did. And I think the maker world kind of was like, that's cool, and that went away. And I think this is a great time to like, instead of having like one entity kind of have badges for everyone, this gives you the tool to make badges for your hackerspace, makerspace, because honestly, at this point, we probably won't mass manufacture embroidered badge. I'll probably do one-offs for my daughter, maybe plural, because at this point, it just doesn't make sense. Like, but you can get really cool one-off ones and put it in your makerspace and hackerspace and make it for 10 people.
Or 3D printed.
Yeah, because getting like 100 and running it as a business doesn't make any sense right now. Not right now. So anyways, I like this book. We don't carry lots of books.
And she's cool.
Yeah, so my pick of the week is this book, by the way.
Okay.
And that's why.
Next up, we have this Pi stemmer board by request. A lot of people wanted an easy way to foolproof connect our I2C sensors with STEMMA QT ports into a Raspberry Pi or Raspberry Pi compatible. And we have like a shim that we carry, but it's a little mechanically not super stable. A couple other options that we have, but I just want to make something low cost and simple. Single-sided, you plug it onto your Raspberry Pi or Raspberry Pi compatible or anything that has a Raspberry Pi pin out, and it will have a 5 volt to 3 volt regulator, so you have a nice clean separated power supply. It has 10K pull-up resistors for I2C in case your board doesn't have those, and then you can plug any of our hundreds of STEMMA QT sensors, OLEDs, GPS units, rotary encoders, what have you. No soldering required, no fiddling, no counting pins, just plug and play.
We're anti-fiddling here, everyone. But not in the way you think. Fiddling is good, but fiddling to get something done, fiddling to put a cable in, like I was talking about with this before.
Have fun with your fiddles.
Okay, so fiddles, yeah. Why spend all this time fiddling when you could be
Making.
If you weren't fiddling, you could live here now. Okay, the star of the show tonight, besides you, Lady Ada, our team, our customers, and the nine cups of coffee I had today, is
the HSTX out video Pi cowbell. So it's another cowbell. These are accessories that fit on top of a Raspberry Pi Pico, or Pico 2 or Pico 2W or whatever future board the Raspberry Pi Foundation comes up with. And it uses the HSTX pins. So those are specifically for the Pico 2 to let you generate video. And this is one of the cool new additions of the RP2350 chip that's in the Pico 2 and the Pico 2W. It has the ability to do video. Here's a couple clips just showing some video demos. And it doesn't require using PIO peripherals. It doesn't require using a lot of CPU time. It kind of does it all for you.
Maker badges.
Yeah, hexagons.
Maker badges.
And text and fishes and more. You could still use this with a Raspberry Pi Pico 1 if you wanted to, but you would only be able to use it with the PIO peripheral. You wouldn't get like that extra boost of HSTX. So it's just that this uses the specific pins that the HSTX peripheral is on. So basically, you can use it as the Pico 1 if you want, but if you want that extra boost of capability, and also, honestly, the Pico 2 has more RAM, which you really need when you're doing video because you have to buffer the entire image. Recommend this. There's also, in the middle, I added, if you see the 5 volt D minus D plus ground, I added some pins that you could use, especially with the Pico 2 because it has that extra processing capability in PIO, to also do USB host. So that's kind of fun because now you can have video and you can have a keyboard or a mouse, or if you can connect a hub, you can actually have both. So you can actually do like little mini computer stuff with a Pico 2 or Pico 2W. So, we still are going to stock our original DVI cowbell, but this is kind of what we're going to push people towards if you want to do video projects on the Raspberry Pi Pico.
Very cool. We did it. No matter what, I can say for sure this week, Lady Ada, we showed the best and only products that you can get from good old Adafruit in the USA. You get discounts, open source hardware. We're fighting a good fight out there. We can only do it with money because that's the only form of currency that's currently accepted right now. You can use it on our site. It's money. Let's see what else don't we have time for, okay?
Okay.
Best new products.
Thanks, everybody.
I got to be straight up. Everything's expensive. We're not doing tariff talk this week because we don't know, and we're still getting bills of tens of thousands of dollars. So before the products are even in the store. So that's that. Let's do something. I'm going to run upstairs and grab a top secret thing while you talk about the top secret thing. And then we'll just run down the clock. And then while we're cleaning up and bouncing, I'll play videos on the way out so people get a little bit of extra show.
Yeah, sure.
But we're going to be shutting down in like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So, hey, everybody, guess what? It's top secret time. Oh, wait. I'm going to buy some. Okay. It's top secret time. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm absolutely exhausted. I had enough to get to 9:30.
Yeah.
But then I was like, yeah. So I'm going to show this coming soon.
Yeah.
And you're going to talk about it. I'm going to go get a thing and I'll be right back. Okay.
Later. Now I'm in charge.
Sorry. Everyone, don't forget when you're doing live shows, one of the most important things to do is make sure you don't bring the microphone with you if you have to like pee or something. I'm not going to do that, but it happens and everyone will be.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Later.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to go grab the thing. So can you talk about, this is what people probably think it is.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for you to.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Later. Sometimes I have to go and do stuff. Okay, so yes, this is I'm not like even really done doing this hardware design. I just started doing the like kind of the parts placement. I didn't even have like any connections going on yet, but it's the 20th year anniversary of the Zoxbox, and I thought I would do another synthesizer, but this time I wanted to do like a fully digital synthesizer rather than the original Zox, which was like kind of like true to the analog origins of the TB303, that also required me to like go to Tokyo and like haggle with dudes in the Akihabara, transistor market to get leftover two SC2291s, which I don't really do anymore. I'm just too busy. I can't. I mean, I'd love to go to Tokyo and haggle with them, but I think I bought them all anyways. Also, like, the chips, they're not really available. And also, we have Synth.io for CircuitPython. I thought it would be really fun to do a fully digital synth. So this is going to be a project. We're doing a little bit of a collab with Todd Bott, who sort of started off with some of the code. And then Jepler, of course, wrote some great Synth.io modules when he was working on stuff. And this was one of the things I was thinking about doing. I was like, oh, we'll do a digital synth. But, just kind of coming up with the idea, like, still having the 6 pots at the top, and you could tie them to like stuff like envelope and like resonance and squelch. I don't even remember what the fuck those pots were. And then some ordering coders, and then a volume pot over there, and then, the keyboard. But I thought would be neat is that, like, you could reprogram and change what it was doing. So like one of the demos would be like a Zoxbox-like synthesizer. And this is like a TFT display over here, because like I thought it would be cool to have digital output telling you like what's going on. And then the same TLV 320 headphone amp. So yeah, it says not out yet. It's totally top secret. Don't ask any questions because I'm not going to answer them. But yeah, we'll be leaking out pictures and images as the layout gets going.
Okay. Here, hold this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so since we're unpacking and the Adafruit Museum is underway, I'll post photos later. We also have a gallery element item that we're releasing. I didn't get to it today, sorry, Shane. But I'll get to it tonight and tomorrow. Usually, Lady and I are so intensely busy from Monday to Wednesday that towards Wednesday, I'm falling apart. The corpse across the finish line tonight is going to be awesome. It's going to be like skidding across. But anyways, we have a lot of new stuff. And I'm going to do those as pre-records over this weekend, because there's no way to do some of these things live with like all the things that go on during a business day. So anyways,
yes,
I wanted to show a couple things. So I'm unpacking stuff.
All right, what do you got?
This is my Hackaday flag
that
cool. Sophie gave me. She was at Hackaday. So I started Hackaday, and here's a flag. They made some for a while, and this is the logo I designed. And,
yes.
And here's my Hackaday flag.
That's
so
cool.
That's going to be in the Adafruit Museum more. And then...
can I put this on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like an American flag where if it touches the ground, you have to burn it. If a Hackaday flag touches the ground, you have to turn it into like a swan. Yeah. So then the other thing is we got this. These are all separate. This is just stuff I'm working on. We have this little nook underneath our stairs, and I'm going to paint it with this. I have multiple glow-in-the-dark paints. I always wanted to do. I always wanted to do the Pepsi challenge. Turns out younger people don't know about it. And when I say Pepsi challenge, they're like, huh. And then I'm like, you know what that is?
They're like, oh, I drank like a whole liter of like soda at once.
So anyways, this is covers that you can get for your headphones, because I live in a all black void at night. So it's really hard for me to find my headphones. So what I do is I have these that will glow, but if it's in the dark for so long, eventually it doesn't glow. So what you can do is you can use a little, and you see how you can even see that?
That's cool.
Yeah. So you can use a little,
Is that for like checking money and stuff? Yeah.
Is it for checking money?
Yeah, like people use UV to like check money. It's just funny because it's.
I don't know what this actually is for. Let's see what it says on it. It says
Techno Glow. Oh, it's like a raver toy. That's cool.
It's a raver toy.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So anyways, I like this, and you can find these anywhere. Like eBay has it, and like I think there's a silicone glow in the dark, but it's kind of neat because I like things that do more than just cover it. Yeah. It actually has light, and I can use it as a teaching tool with a kid or something like that. Yeah. And then the other thing that I have
it's like we're doing show and tell, but it's just you.
I told everyone everything's going to be different when we move Adafruit's factory, when we eventually, start a next chapter in our life. I have to unpack a lot of stuff.
We have a lot of stuff here to show off. I mean, I think people would love to see it. Yeah.
Literally. So this is something that I wanted to do over the holidays, but it just didn't work out. Hack the Holidays. This is from, one of the people who were in the movie Hackers. I wanted to give this away, but you know what? Give it away this holiday.
Yeah.
We'll do another one.
Good news. Hackers is always in the past, so you can always do it as an anniversary. Just an anniversary every year.
It's from the Phantom Freak.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Anyways, Maybe we'll do an auction and do something for charity. But I have that. And then the last thing is I want to let folks know where there's a few things going on. So for the people that are on the receiving end of my emails lately, I've been trying to use speech to text because I'm so busy. Sometimes I have a kid in one arm. Sometimes I have a kid and a lady. There's a lot going on. So I decided, let me just try to get stuff done, and I'll just apologize and just be like, look, doing the best I can with what's going on. And the thing that is hard to do is explain over and over. It's like, yeah, obviously that's a typo. It'll say Lee Morgue. Hey, Lee Morgue. I don't go to the morgue every day, once in a while for fun, but not every day. So I have to explain that to people. And now I can finally say like why everything was going on. So we wanted to continue to have a family, and we didn't want to say anything because we have to do tests and all that stuff, and everything's fine. We got the latest test, everyone, and everything's fine.
Yay.
So we'll give everyone updates, but right now everything's fine. Everything's good. So no news is good news, but this is real time. You'll know what we do. When things are delayed and things are happening,
My body's falling apart, but the baby's fine.
it's a trade-off. There's always a price to pay.
Yeah.
Just make sure the price is right.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just want to let everyone know what's going on, because I can send the link to this portion of the video and just be like, I'm not going to stop. She's not going to stop. It just means like maybe the show's a half an hour later, or maybe we pre-record some of it. And then maybe, because we have to do, for us, for what we want to do by the end of the year, we have to get X number of new products out. We have to ship AdaBox Classic and then start codename AdaBox Flow. And I know it's going to be jarring for a lot of people because things are going to change so fast, but it's better than dying. Like, it's better than just like, oh, let's do the same thing over and over, because that doesn't work anymore. So I'm just happy that we can kind of show our work a little bit more this time. I don't like opening up so much because it's tender. So I don't know if someone messes with us. My ask for the community is like, tell them to stop, because we're just trying our best here.
Yeah.
And we're just going to keep doing this stuff. I'm sharing some things that I would never share ever. So I don't know. This is more fun than what's going on. Come out and build things and do things together.
Pick up the skill figure book.
You too could get something that's so cool that changed so many people's destinies building a synth a long time ago, and will be maybe back in some way. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyways, let's not forget. Don't forget the code is Fountain. The reason it's Fountain is because we're watching some movies, and one of the movies we're watching is Edge of Tomorrow, like Live, Die, Repeat, Die, because Tom Cruise is in the news because he's doing all this stuff, but this is a movie that not a lot of people know about because it's like he does a time loop over and over and over. And Fountain is because I want you to see the movie The Fountain, because there's a cool tree in it. Yeah. And we're going to make a cool garden here, and I want to model it after like some science fiction movies and stuff like that. I'm going to do, we have like a space theme that we're doing. So I want to show that to you. So that's why the code is Fountain, because I was like trying to think of a code and my brain just stopped. I'm like, let me look on my to-do list of things that's not things I have to do today. And tomorrow I'm going to show you the Fountain thing. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's our show for tonight, folks. We'll see you later.
Into our bedtimes.
And I'm going to play some videos while we wrap up. So this has been an Adafruit production. We'll see everybody next week. Here is your moment of dinner. And then afterwards, there will be some videos. Good night, everybody.
Bye.